Hello everyone, Esper here. What do we have today? We have a game on Clan Blitz Mahi where we're watching Toast, the leader. Now, this game is Toast's good game, which is surprising to me because Clan Blitz tends to be a pretty bad mode for leaders because leaders have a hard time pushing in because their picks don't really have any momentum and they're a weapon that takes a while to set up. But I did look at their kill count at the scoreboard, and it was pretty good. So let's see what happened. The good games, though, tend to be the game for chargers at least, or for any weapon really. Tends to just be the games where they hit their most shots, which is about what I expected. Anyways, keeping good pressure, and there you go. There's a wipeout. Being a bit slow with the clan pickups, I would have already be trying to be in their base. Like I would have been here about 2 seconds ago. Because as a charger, you really want to be trying to take space. Like area denial and area control is very important for any weapon, but it's also very important for charger. So I would have prioritized trying to get into their base and keep securing that area. Because if you can hit them during the respawns, which you very well can, you have the range to do that because you're a leader. That's pretty much a free pick. Like weakens their defense and sets you up for the next fight. But anyways, you notice the flank. That's good. You missed the tap shots, but whatever, or the partials and taps, but whatever. This would be a good time for a wave breaker. There you go. Because you want to hold this space. Like, okay, technically this wave breaker isn't doing anything. Or, it seems like that. But it's denying the enemy from pushing in. Yeah, it's denying the enemy from pushing in. Which is buying your teammates time to respawn. That's really the point. Granted, that could only be achieved with one special. Like the other whale didn't need to be popped, but I mean, you can't control your teammates, so whatever. Let's see. Time to go in, but you did not react to the person who was right in front of you. You're ignoring them, which is fine, because your teammate had them, and you wouldn't really have been able to do too much. But I do find it kind of interesting, though, that you ignored someone who was right in front of you. They miss. Whatever. Let's see. Let's see the map. Yeah, okay. Now, let's see. Yeah, they're slowly taking mid. I actually really do not like this position. I'm going to show you what... I'm going to go back. I'm going to tell you exactly when this dually could kill you. Because they could kill you, like, really easily from that position. So you got to be looking at the dually. Right now. They could just dodge roll and instantly kill you. Right now. I know you're up here because you want to look into the enemy basket. But you shouldn't be up here, because if you are up here, you're going to get instantly murdered by that dually. And you knew the dually was there. Let's see. Luckily, they don't try to go for you. Let's see. Okay. So, you also kind of forgot about the dually as well. I don't know if you just have an extreme case of tunnel vision, or if you did just, forget. There you go. Nice shot. You go in. That's good. Time to go in. Pop away. Actually, good. I'm liking how you're pushing it. I don't like how you're going in mid. Your team has enough clams. Your team needs to be holding their basket. I think you could have stayed on the left. Yeah. Instead of being over here, your team could have already, like, here. I think if instead of going to the right, when you're over on the left ramp, going into the basket, if you were to keep that position and try to push it a little bit farther, that would have allowed your teammates to go in and pop their basket, and you wouldn't even have to worry about this guy. At least worry about them scoring your, breaking your barrier and scoring. You would have to worry about him flanking, but not about this. Because you guys had a good push going until this guy ruined it. I also want to mention, this guy isn't really doing anything. Like, good shot and all that. But you also need to keep in mind that this guy's just wasting time, pretty much. For you, he's actually... This guy delayed a really strong push from you guys. And by staying there, you've let them do even more. And they fell. That's kind of funny. Let's see. What's happening in mid? One of your teammates died, so now someone has to hold alone. But this ramp is pretty, like... It's pretty something. You can hold... Depending on the weapon, you can actually hold alone over there. You get the guy? That's good. I do like how you're trying to stay as far away as possible from the area of action. Because, you know, you don't have to be right up front. You have a lot of range. You can just stay back. And that's exactly what you did. It's a good job on that. Let's see. I think, yeah, your team could push in, but it require you to, I think, if you were to pop the Wave Breaker a bit sooner, you probably could have pushed in, but the opportunity's over. There was an opportunity, a point where there was one guy who was down, the dually, and you had your Wave Breaker. I think if you were to get out of your position and pop the Wave Breaker really quick, you could have started a push. Now, I'm not saying that's like what you should have done. I think what you did was also fine. Because doing that would require you to get out of your position, which would mean that the enemy could also push you, which means there's a chance of failure. So what you did here is probably the safer option. But I do want you to keep in mind that pushing in and popping the Wave Breaker was an option. There's someone to the left. Oh, it's your gal. Okay. That was a bit laggy, but okay. Let's see. Good job. What's happening on... Here's one thing I want to point out. I'm going to go back a little bit. So, okay. I know it's solo queue or anarchy. You can't always trust your teammates and all that stuff. But here you have 3 of your teammates already on left. It's a 3v2. But here's the thing. What is the difference between a 3v2 and a 4v2? Actually a fair amount. There is a fair difference. However, the enemy's also fighting on bad terrain. And not only that, there's a guy on mid that's unaccounted for. I would say, if I was in this position, I'd be like, alright, I kind of have to leave this to my team. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that the sloshing machine can't push it and can't help. Because where are they right now? They're in their base. Why were they in there? Did they just respawn? If I was them, I would be diving in and trying to help my teammates. Maybe they did just respawn. Let's see. But yeah, I think you hold pretty well here. Yeah, you do. You do fine. Let's see. I'm not going to fault you for that, because your teammates were holding right, and it was right for you to assume that right was safe, or the ramp was safe. So whoever that was, I think that was the dually, shouldn't have gotten that far in the first place. So yeah, that was a fair assumption. Anyways, teammate holds right. Let's see. I notice you shoot a bit too high. That's not some... I mean, it's not super big deal. It's kind of, but not really. There are more pressing matters, basically. Now, let's see. Let's see the kill count for you guys. I think you ended up dying like 4 times, I think, and got 13. 13-4, I think. We'll see. Quit replay. Okay, 16-4. All right. That's some pretty good paint. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Looks fine. Now we'll see the bad game. All right, let's see. Tower control. Now, in Mahi, the positions are pretty intuitive for a charger, at least when it comes to defense. When it comes to offense, they're less so, but no, this map is also kind of intuitive with the positions. I will tell you this though. So, the leader has the privilege of being able to just stand in the middle platform for the entire game if they want to. You don't really need to move out if you're pushing out. If you're on the offense, then you just only need to stay there. And make sure you don't get blanked. As for the defense, though, that is a different question. We'll see how well things go. Let's see. I also do want to point out the double backline. Okay, if you do have a double backline on your team, and you're the backline, you're the second backline on double backline, one of the two backlines will need to play more aggressively than they need to, or they're used to rather. They need to play more aggressively. Because at the moment, the only weapon that I can see that is comfortable pushing forward, or at least slaying, is the Dapples. Although Dapples has his own problems. And since you're not the Hydra, you kind of need to play a bit more aggressively, or else your team will absolutely die with the pushes. It'll have the pushing power of a wet noodle if you don't start trying to push. I wouldn't really blame this on you, though. Like, I'd blame this more on the matchmaking. Double backline comps just shouldn't happen. Yeah, like, you guys are holding fine here. But I don't know how you guys are going to push out unless someone were to just dive in and get some cool kills. The Dapple is trying to make something happen. But this is just... Yeah. Okay. So here's what happened. So the Dapple died, the Flings had died, and what that meant is that there was no more front line. Which meant that a sloshing machine here, or any weapon really, could really quick just come up when you weren't looking at an area and just shoot you, which is, exactly what happened. And now they're starting to push because they uprooted the backlines. Or one of the backlines. Let's see. So that you saw that blaster, that should tell you to stay away from the ledge. Let's see if that happens. Not really. You're still on the ledge. Well, okay, for a little bit. No, I think you are respecting the blaster. Yeah, you are staying away from the ledge. So that's good on you. Yeah, get murdered. Let's see. We have the Dapple that's trying to be on the back. You try to take a different position, but double backline, which means you're taking the same position as the other backline, which means there's no point. Because there's already going to be area denial at one spot. Your bit of extra layer of area denial won't really matter, because the area is already being denied. If it makes sense, let's say we have each of you guys, both backlines, are having like two circles around them. And that circle represents the area in which they, control, they deny. However, if those circles overlap, that doesn't mean that area is like twice as protected. It's about the same amount of protection. Amount of the same amount of relevant protection. So what you want to try to do is you want to try to be in a different spot from your actual backline. Granted, double backline just shouldn't happen in general, but it did happen. Therefore, you got to learn how to deal with it. There we go. Yeah. At the very least, you tried to get an off angle from your other backline, right? That might have been what happened. Anyways, this is a good time to push, though that was not a good time for a Wave Breaker. Reason being, it didn't really do much. Like, okay, the Wave Breaker's already out. And here is where I want to pop the Wave Breaker. Because over here, you have the, what is it? The Wave Breaker waves. How would I explain it? More of the Wave Breaker waves are hitting the area they actually want. And not only that, but the time when you popped it was a time when you weren't really going to be threatened at that moment. You were going to be threatened, yeah. But not particularly at that moment. I mean, I'm sure it still had an effect to help your team get in. But I think if you were to use it a little bit later, it would have been better. But still, that is a little bit nitpicky, what I'm talking about. No, it's not too much. It's a little bit, but not... It's just a little bit nitpicky, if anything. Anyways, I do notice that a giant hole in your defenses is the right. If I were to look at the map, yeah, there's a... Did you get sniped? Probably got sniped. Yeah, there was a giant amount of green ink on your right, which meant someone could shoot you from there. Let's see if that happened. Kinda. Charger shot you from mid. Huh. Well, that's something that roller can do. I have not seen that. Anyways. Let's see, try to go for the guy. Let's see. You can't really go here. Alright. Yeah. Alright, let's see. Like... I just... Let's see. So, you go to the left. You can't really do anything. Yeah, okay. If you're getting ink fact, you don't want to just stand there. Because you're kind of announcing to everyone where you are. And by just standing there, you're also making yourself a really easy shot. So the blaster just killed you. You kind of just want to leave. You want to just run. Whether that means jumping back to spawn or physically, you know, running away. Doesn't matter. You just gotta leave. But yeah. Alright. Let's go over here. Okay, I don't think you played this fight really all too... let's watch it again. Because throughout most of that fight, you weren't really aiming down at anyone. You weren't really having an impact. But that was also kind of because you were being displaced. Let's go back more. And if you're being displaced, that means that for a charger, you can't really do anything. Because it's set a time, like charge time and all that stuff. Anyways, you gotta move. You ink for a better spot. You didn't really need to ink that, but it's fine. Yeah, looking back at this, like, although you weren't really influential at that fight, you kind of had no choice. Also, you don't need two people on this tower. It's quite clear the Hydra doesn't want to give it up, so I'd say back off. Yeah, I don't think he noticed the bomb. Yeah, funny bomb kill. Whatever. Let's see. Yeah, I don't... Unless something really cool happens. Yeah. No, this is... You guys have lost already. But still, we gotta see this through. Yeah. Another thing to mention, if there is a uh, big bubbler on the tower and the game is about to end, you kind of have to just dive it, even if you are a charger. You have to dive it. Like, nothing else you can do. Dive it, go for the tap shot, see what happens. But I'm gonna be honest, you didn't really lose that because you were playing bad. You lost that because you got outcomped. And what that means is either the enemy just had a better comp than you. No, okay, it means two things. One, that your comp was just bad, um, in the sense that like it just couldn't really play well against the other team's comp. And the second thing that it means is that the other team comp was just able to just play better than it was able to do more. The reason why you guys were outcomped was because it was a double backline. There are ways to play around it, certainly, but you didn't really do it because I don't think you know how to play around double backline. So why don't I do this? I will go into recon with leader. Where's my leader? Here it is. Over here. To recon, I'll go into a, what is it called? Into TC. Nope. Into TC, what is it called? It's the, I forget. Museum, is it called? Tower control. Museum, yes. Go on recon. Alright. So I'll show you how to play double backline from here, but this isn't also... But learning how to play double backline, yeah, it is important to do well in Anarchy if you're playing a backline. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing was your lack of awareness. I'll just quickly explain how to play with double backline as an E-leader, and then I'll talk to you about your awareness. So let's say a lot of the backlines are like set up here because, you know, good sight lines and all that stuff, and you can see a lot. But if I'm here and the Hydra is also like over here, we're looking at the same stuff really. And let's say I'm one of the enemies. I'm over here. Well, I can already be shot by the leader over here if I go like around this range, if I cross that line. The fact I can also get a Hydra, like I'm already deterred from going from this place because the leader can shoot me. If a Hydra can shoot me, that doesn't change anything because I already don't want to go in there. But if I were to go, let's say, here instead, and if I were to recognize, okay, the Hydra's going to stay right here, I'm going to go right here. Just because it's somewhere different. And while this isn't a great spot, it's different. It's not covering the same area. And not only that, but if you're playing double backline, someone needs to be fishing for kills. Like, someone needs to be trying to go for some kind of picks. And because you can't control what they're going to do, you have to do it. Unless you recognize that the other backline is fishing for kills. In which case, yeah, you can play standard backline. Or have a better shot at playing standard backline. Anyways, as for the lack of awareness thing, there was a spot where the enemy team had all of this painted. You looked over here, and because the tower was over here, they were like over here and around the checkpoint, and you wanted to get them off. What that meant, though, is that your side was exposed. Very exposed. And all someone had to do was just swim up to you and shoot you. And that's exactly what happened. When you're in a position, you need to make sure that it's safe. This is a good spot because you can cover all of this area. Yeah, it's a really good sight line. But at the same time, if I'm looking over here, I'm not covering this anymore. So when I look over here, I need to either keep in mind that this is a vulnerability, so I need to make sure no one is here, or I have to paint this so that I know that like it's what is it? No, you just have to paint it. Either way, you kind of have to just paint this anyways. If you can't paint this, you don't want to paint this, but you still want to look at tower, you need to just back off and recognize that like, yeah, this is just gonna not be gonna be a good spot for me. Be like over here or over here, or just away from your vulnerability. If you can do it. If you can't do it, then you have to make sure that this spot is safe. Which means you have to look here and then check your check this side. Look here, check, here, check, here, check. Although you can't do this all the time, so you have to like look at this and then check. Okay, look at this, shoot, shoot, check. This. Hey, I got a kill. Oh wait, I don't. There's two people here and one person that's still alive. Are they over here? Yeah, they're here. Die. Oh, I missed. I'm running. I'm over here now. Now whatever's happening on the right doesn't matter. You want to try to play around your weak spots. In fact, I'd made a video where this was the topic, but I'm gonna be honest. I can already tell there's gonna be a lot of videos where I'm going to be going over the same things, which is fine. Everyone's at different spots, and you know, some people are in the same spot and need to know the same stuff. So, yeah, I'll just reteach the same stuff. That'll be whatever. But yeah, main thing I want to say is you want to consider what the enemy can do in whatever position you're in to either take you, like, remove you from your spot, or to outright kill you. But yeah. So, in terms of what I actually want you to do, when you go into a spot, I want you to look around and think, all right, looking at the positions of the enemy and the ink that's on the ground, that's also very important. What could the enemy do to get me off of this spot? What are this position's vulnerabilities? And do your best to play around them. If there's a ink if there's a ink that's going to your spot, cover that up. If there is a place where you just can't watch very well, like for example, let's say I'm looking over here. Actually, no. Let's go back here. Let's say, like, yeah, I can watch this stuff very well, but let's say I'm over here actually. But this block is in my way. Well, try to look over there and make sure no one can really hit me. Or another case. Let's do. Let's say I am. Let's say I'm over here. A vulnerability is that I can't really influence those over there, and someone can jump up and come right here and just shoot me. So I need to play a bit farther back. That's what I mean when I say look around and assess your vulnerabilities. And there are some times where it's like, this is actually fine because you know no one's going to be here. Or you know no one is here. Like for example, let's say the enemy's all down here. There's no way they'd be up here. So it's fine for you to be right here. Let's see. However, let's say, you know, this is normally a good spot. But if there's an enemy, like an enemy gamer right over here, you either have to hit this shot or leave. And this spot has, you know, isn't a good spot anymore. You know that. I saw you play like that. I saw you recognize that. I know you can do it. You just gotta recognize this fact, and then you can keep doing it more and apply it in more situations. But yeah, that'll be for today. See ya.